Welcome on, everybody. Good to have you on today. I hope you guys are having a blessed season. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I know that the season that we're in this year is a little bit different than what we normally have. Nevertheless, Merry Christmas, and I pray that you're having a great time preparing. Hope your tree's ready and the food is going to be good at your house. I hope you got your Zoom set up so that you can hang out with your peoples being together. That's awesome. Well, Icky Time me here for Tuesday Tea Time, and of course we're going to get into it again today. So I have a special guest with us today who is been around Southern California for quite some time and has done quite a bit of work around here. He is Dr. Ariel Quintana. Today we're hanging out with him. He's an Argentinian-born master conductor, composer, and arranger. He leads the annual candlelight concert for the Christmas season over at Siera University. He's also a USC alum, completing his doctorate in musical arts back there quite a few years ago, which it still makes him a Trojan. Hey, what's up, Annie? Welcome on, welcome on. It's good to have you on here today. It's always good to have you on, Annie, as well as you, Jillian. Good to see you all, as well as those of you who are watching on. So, before we get into it, I do want to take a moment to give a shout out to our Hello campaign from the Communications Department here at Southern California Conference. If you want to jump in, we'd love to have you. Go put your story in there, man. People would love to hear your experience in faith or in life, things that you've been dealing with. You can go to www.sec.adventist.org/say hello. In there, you can throw in your story and they'll put it out there. All right. Today, we're saying hello to Danielle de Assis Pignon. She loves to sing, and her actual favorite part of being involved in music is conducting a church choir. She's in the Army, so she travels a lot, as well as she likes to travel a lot. She notes that traveling is an enriching experience, and going to various churches on my travels is always an adventure. Danielle can't wait to get to heaven and participate in the singing. She says that she can only imagine how beautiful all the voices will be when they blend harmoniously together. Here's to you, Danielle, for reminding us that our chorus together is infinitely more rich than our solo acts can ever be. May you and I be a part of a chorus today. Next week, we're going to be hanging out with Kevin Strain and Jacqueline Jules. So these are a couple of our guests who are returning from this year. They've just come out with their newest album, so I invited them to come on and share a song live with us. So if you love live performance, you're going to get a live performance next week from both Kevin and Jacqueline. So we're going to round out our year like that. If you happen to have a song that you like or you haven't seen their album, I want you to go visit their websites, pick up their album, and prep up for next week, and they're going to bring it to us as is. Well, that's about all we got. So all right, let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, man, I introduce you to Dr. Ariel Quintana. How you doing,
how
boss?
are you?
Very good, man.
Good,
Thank you for
good.
joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Now, you've got to be an expert by now on these Zoom things because you've had to conduct music via this, haven't you?
It seems like the more I do Zoom, the less I understand how it works. But yeah, it's been a long time Zooming, and I tell you, I am ready to not do it again. But for the time being, yeah, it's tough, especially because right now the technology is not capable of us putting us all in Zoom and being able to sing together. It just, the latency of computers does not allow for that.
Absolutely.
So doing rehearsals for me, it's it was tough.
Especially for those of us who our job is, and I mean this in all sincerity, live performance, right? Pastors are the same. We perform live. We preach live. So moving to the tech world is quite a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I had to actually change my whole way of teaching. I
Mm,
mean, period. Yeah, there was we had to reinvent ourselves as especially those of us that conduct ensembles.
yeah.
Um, and because it's not just, putting the content on a video or on a PowerPoint or whatever.
Right.
Just the whole idea that the experience of making music together is listening to each other, feeding of each other's creativity, and how do you breathe? How do you
Right.
catch a breath here? When do you cut off? How loud do you sing this? None of that exists anymore.
No.
And so yeah. And when you go into the virtual mode, then the challenges are even greater because you just sing to a track and then you pretend and you imagine how the choir will sound like, but it's all in your imagination. And sometimes what the singer has in mind is not what you as a conductor have in mind. And then you go, can you redo this again? Or, you just mute this little part and edit this. And
Did
okay.
you take any classes on this to prepare you for this in your doctoral program?
No, I want my money back.
Hey, doctor, what are you drinking today?
Hey, you know what? I'm having just water right here because I was working outside and I got a little dehydrated. Up here is really, really dry. So it's just water for me. Yeah.
Good, good. And that's, you know what, that's good for your vocal cords. Jillian Spencer, good to thanks. Jillian is jumping on here. For all of you jumping on, feel free to drop in here some comments. Let us know what are some of your favorite pieces out there. Do you have any questions for Dr. Quintana? Jump on here, drop them the questions, and like always, I'll ask them. Dr. Quintana, thank you again for coming on here with us. We're going to get rocket into this together. You are a composer, a conductor, an arranger, and all things musical. What is that exactly for those watching along who may not have any real engagement with the orchestral music world? What does it mean to be a composer or a conductor or an arranger?
Oh, wow. It has so many different facets to it.
Mm,
It has so many different layers. Um, I read somewhere that if a composer could find the words to express something, then it wouldn't be necessary.
huh,
But sometimes what you feel, what you experience, what you want to share goes beyond text,
mm,
and then you put it into sound. Um, and sometimes it's just instrumental, of course, there is no text. But when there is text also, then I would say the text is what triggers the creativity when it comes to music making. Um, so I do, when I find a text that I like, or that sometimes I'm commissioned to write a piece on a certain text. Um, then I repeat and I repeat and I say it and I hum tunes to it, and somewhere in the text, in the cadence of the phrases and in the accents of the words, then you find the inspiration.
wow.
So that's a little bit as a composer. As an arranger, is a lot easier because you have the material; it's already there,
Mm.
um, and then you have something to work with, and
Wait,
then you
so
go,
as an
okay.
arranger, you have all the parts, you just are putting them together. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it could be that you just put them together, or it could be that they're saying, okay, out of this solo piece, can you arrange it for choir and orchestra? And then you go, okay, I have the melody, I have the rhythm, I have the harmonies. Should I tweak the harmonies a little bit, or can I change the rhythm a little bit to make it a little interesting, different? And that's where your creativity comes in, but there is something that it's already there. And in some ways, it's easier because, well, I'm not sure that it's easier, but it's just different. Your
Right.
creativity comes in from a different angle, and like to arrange a hymn and make it a little bit more relevant. Perhaps it's the instrumentation, or you change the rhythms, harmonies, and but if you're going to compose something totally new, where do you
Mm.
start? And most composers will say that they will start with the text.
Mm, 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 Annie says that arranging is the classical version of remixing.
Okay, all right, I'll
Yeah,
give you that.
that's a good way of putting it. Fantastic. So, you, as a composer, you compose music as well as vocal chorale pieces. Is that true?
Yes, mainly I would say my compositions are all choral pieces. Um, I did write one piano concerto, and a few things for piano solo, but they're not published, and I just
Right.
keep them to myself. But yeah, mainly it's choral music because that's my field. It's choirs and vocal music. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, so this is composing, conducting, and arranging. Out of those three, which is your favorite to do? If you had to pick one to live and the other two would have to die, which one lives?
Don't ask that question. Um, I do like working with people. I really
Mm,
do enjoy the interaction. So I would probably have to say that if I must pick, I would pick conducting.
wow.
Because although I love composition, but it's something that happens, right here in front of my keyboard and the computer and the piano, and it's lonely,
Yeah.
and I can't wait for those notes to go and give it to people so that they'll sing, that they will perform, and that they will enjoy themselves. And if I didn't have that opportunity, then I would say no. I'll just do music by other composers, and I'll conduct and enjoy myself.
Very good. Joanna says they're all your kids, those three. How
Yeah,
can you choose one of your babies among the other, huh?
I know.
Where did this
Yeah.
deep love of music come from? Because I'd read in one of your bios that you started playing the piano at 3 years old. Three. Most children aren't sleep trained. They at three.
Well, that's what my mom tells me. That's what my parents told me that. And I have to confess that one of my very early memories, and I must have been really small
Mm,
because I remember going like this at the piano, trying to find the melodies.
wow.
So that meant I couldn't even see the keys standing up. So I must have been really like 3 years old or something. I don't
Wow.
know.
Wow.
And I remember my mom playing the hymns, and I would try to follow the melody along. And that's when my parents decided, maybe there is something that this kid, has a ear or something. And so I started music lessons when I was very, 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 very young. And then, I got lazy and I didn't want to practice. And so I said to my parents, no, I don't want to do this.
Right.
And, luckily my parents, they would say, okay, if you don't want this teacher, that's fine. We'll find you another one. And they kept finding other teachers and teachers and teachers. So I could never quit.
That's funny. Uh, Good thing they never gave up on you, huh?
Yeah, I am really grateful for they they never forced me. Actually, they never forced me to do the practice or to go to the piano lesson. Um, yeah, sometimes I would be discouraged because I didn't play well enough at a
Mm,
lesson or something like that. But um, it was always okay if you don't like this teacher for whatever reason, then we'll find you another one.
Wow.
And I remember that even when I was probably, I don't know, 7 or 8, they would just go to great lengths to take me to. I mean, they drove for over an hour to
Wow.
another town to take me to piano lessons with this teacher that I'm grateful they did, because he was very uh, he made a point about music theory. And at that point in my studies, I had never studied theory and solfege and all that, and he really helped me with that. So
Wow.
yeah.
My parents would have given up a long time ago. I'll tell you that. They would have beaten me and then just moved on with life. So good on your folks. When did you know, when in your heart, when did you know, wow, this is for me? Was there one of those moments where it was like it just struck you and you knew at that point this is what you wanted to do with your life?
um it was a combination of situations in life, and sometimes life takes you in a path that you don't know what it is, and then I think God just shows you, okay, this is it now. And I think that moment came at a point when I wasn't really taking any music lessons.
Oh,
I wasn't
interesting.
practicing. Wasn't
Interesting.
practicing, yeah, because we moved to the north part of the country, to a town where there were no piano teachers. Well, there was one, but I knew more than she did. And so, anyway, long story short, I was just playing at church, the hymns, but nothing, as far as studying, practicing, having a teacher, no. This was my second year in high school, um, and um, and I was getting into science and things like that. Until one day, my mom said, "Well, hey, I've heard that there is a piano teacher at an Advent school that was far away from where we lived." But she said, but she actually lives in another town, and maybe we can go visit her and see what happens. So that other town was 4.5 hours away.
This is Argentina, correct?
This
We're
is
talking about.
Argentina, north of Argentina, in the province of Misiones, where the Iguazu Falls are. Anyway, um,
Is it average? This is average traffic time for you guys. Hey, let's just get in. Let's travel 4 hours
sure, yeah, yeah, to go take a piano lesson,
to go take a
right?
piano
Yeah,
lesson.
yeah. And so we did that, and this lady, she had a sense of calmness about her teaching, but also her standards were so high that I was so impressed in the way she was able to challenge me
Mm.
to do better. And and I said to my mom, well, maybe, I don't know, you guys can't drive me here, but what can we do? So I took the bus at 4:30 in
Oh.
the morning, twice a month, because they couldn't afford lessons every week. And yeah, so by 8:30, 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, I would arrive to her house, and she would teach me 3 solid hours. And I'm not kidding you. It was like
Get
up
out of here.
and down and up and down. And
You should have gotten a
okay,
doctorate for that. They should have. They should have given you.
impatiently. But I think by the end of the second year studying with her, I was going into, just about to finish high school. And I'm thinking, this is what I'm going to do.
Wow.
There was just no other choice. I mean, all of the other things that I had done in high school, even the science classes that I was enjoying quite a bit. No, I just needed to play the piano, make music. Yeah.
My goodness, my goodness. So Jillian asks a question. I want to ask it to you here. She's wondering for a decade or two now. Apparently, she was one of your students at one point. She said,
She
"Yes,
was.
yes." She says, "How did you go from teaching elementary music to where you are today?" And you're quite known in this area of in this field.
Well, no, I'm not.
Well,
Well,
locally, at least
you
locally.
know, I do what I do. But yeah, so I was teaching at the school where Jillian was,
Hmm.
and her mom was a teacher there also. And and I really love teaching kids. I mean, kindergarten through eighth grade. Um, I taught for 13 years.
Wow.
And one day I was teaching. I'm not sure which classroom it was. It's not important, but and I thought to myself, well, maybe I need to do something else before I leave this earth and give back to humanity something else.
Right.
And so that day, actually, I thought, okay, I don't have a degree from any universities here in this country. I just have my degree from Argentina. And I thought, okay, I'm going to send some applications. And I'm going to send applications as uh, to study conducting and to study composition. And we'll see what happens. So I did that. And I told a couple of friends about this idea of getting a degree here. Needless to say, it took 3 days
Wow.
for a professor from USC to actually call me and to tell me that there was a spot there for me, and the rest is history.
Wow. In that particular journey as you're sharing, is there anything that you wish you would have done differently if you could go back and change that journey now?
Um, when I was little, I was born at a college campus in the middle of nowhere in Argentina, okay, which is now the Adventist University there. But the resources were very limited, and I was never exposed um, to string instruments or woodwind instruments when I was little. I wish I would have had that opportunity because it would have helped me in some ways to, learn even just to learn the basics of, clarinet or violin or cello or something. That's the
Right.
only thing. The rest, yeah, it would have been nice that my piano lesson was so far away. But
Hey,
anything
that's
else
what you
that I would
sharpened
have
your blade
changed?
on. That's what made you you, right?
I guess so. I guess so.
um, Now, without leaving the admittedly shallow end of my orchestral music pool, I do want to ask, is there a particular style or form that you enjoy more than others?
Hmm. Um. Wow, that's a tough question.
Mm,
As long as the music is well written, well constructed, um, and I enjoy a variety of different things. I mean, it can be a great piano piece, it can be an orchestra piece, it can be, a huge choral oratorio, or even a small quartet. If it's well done, if it's well crafted, I'm in it. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
that is
So
awesome.
yeah, yeah. There are some things that some experimental music, some experimental composers that are trying new things and trying different things, and it's okay.
All right. I think we're back up. Let's see. Yeah, we're back live. Hey, welcome back,
All
everybody.
right.
Icky Timey here. We're back on Tuesday Tea Time. We stopped having these issues with the dropout stream months ago, and out of nowhere, the last 2 weeks, this has happened. I want to apologize to my guy, Dr. Quintana, and to all of you guys. So jump back on. We're back on it. We're gonna keep going here. So Doc, thanks again for joining us. Sorry for the
Sure.
craziness.
Oh, don't worry about it.
I had to
It's
switch.
just like it's just like teaching in Zoom.
Yes. They didn't give me any classes in my master's course on this, so
See, again, go and get your money back. I tell
yes,
you.
I know. You know where I got my master's at, last year University. I need to call them up and get my money back.
Gosh.
So back to our question. We were just at about what is playing in your Spotify? What do you roll to down the
Well,
street?
I told you this. I cannot say this in public. I don't listen to very much music. I don't.
Is that right?
I no, I don't, and I'm not lying to you. It's like I would listen to some NPR or maybe the classical radio station, but not for very long. I
Right.
don't. I think my head is always in so much overload of music that I I need some quiet time sometimes, and it's like, okay, I've been mixing songs for the last 7 months, and I've been, researching uh, new pieces, or what are the new composers coming up with, and again, I love making music and I love great performances, but on daily basis, I'm afraid to say that I do not listen to a lot of music. I do listen to some, but not a lot, not a lot. I just need a little bit of calm, and then of course, because you're a conductor and a composer and a teacher, you're thinking, okay, this student will conduct this piece, this student will conduct that piece, and then you listen to different versions of it, because now that we are all, in our homes, then you need to give them homework, and okay, compare this conductor to that conductor, this version to that version. What do you like about this interpretation or that interpretation? So then I do listen, but I listen because of it's part of what I do. um, if I were to sit down and enjoy music, I would probably go to a concert. Although now there's no concerts,
Yeah.
but um, so yeah, I'm not sure that I can say that I have a favorite piece that I'm listening to right now.
Very good. Jillian mentioned that oftentimes music as professional musicians, you guys enjoy quiet time, and then she said, "Icky, do you often listen to other preachers recreationally?" So good point. But I do. I enjoy listening to other preachers, especially if I can steal their material. You know what I mean? No, I'm just playing. I'm just
Well,
playing.
that's what I do as a composer. I just
Right,
steal from somebody
right.
else.
Like, ooh, I'll just pretend like I said that originally. No, but I get it. I get it. Tell us something about you that would surprise us. Something that we'd never guessed Dr. Quintana, did
That that I did,
that you do. Something that you enjoy that
that
we
I
might
do.
like
Okay,
origami
so
or.
mm, no, so I like to do things around the house, a little bit of maintenance, and sometimes I would do like a refinishing a piece and work with wood, or like right now I'm working on building some steps around the hill here,
Oh,
stuff like that.
yeah, hands-on
Something that
guy.
people kind of, yeah, I put hardwood floors and drywall and a little bit
That's
of everything.
that's that Argentinian drive. That's what happens when you drive 4.5 hours to go to music lessons. It creates a man out of you.
That's what you learn, right? No, but something that people don't know about me is that when I was doing my doctorate, um, I was lucky that my health insurance at USC covered for a cornea transplant. And
Wow.
that is something that I try to tell my students and people I talk to, that you know you never know when you can help somebody.
Wow.
And I am very glad, because in this eye I was almost blind,
Wow.
and somebody was kind enough to donate a cornea, and yeah,
Wow.
so that's something people don't know about me.
Oh, that's super interesting. Whoa, you've got
Yeah,
somebody else's eye. That's
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I wanted to meet the family,
Yeah.
but for whatever reason, they wouldn't allow that to happen. But
Sure.
so yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Very
just
cool.
donate
Very
your
cool.
organs.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to come into a time now, my friends, where we're going to be doing our 3, 2, 1 hack time. So, this is a time where you get a little educational piece from our guests. They give you some practical, cool tips that you can use to further your experience in whatever field that's in their wheelhouse and that you might be potentially interested in. So, if you want to learn something, this is a time where you pull out a pen, a pencil, maybe open up your iPad, scroll down the notes, Evernote, whatever you got to do, because Dr. Quintana is going to share a 3, a 2, and a 1 hack for us today. So, the first hack will be, Doc, can you give us 3 immediate things someone can do to tangibly improve their ability to do conduction?
To conduct.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, listen, listen.
Ooh,
And if you don't hear what you want to hear, start by changing your conducting.
wow.
Um, you as a conductor, think as a singer or as an instrumentalist, playing that instrument or singing that line. Or how would you catch a breath? Is it possible to do what you're expecting them to do? Um, and number one, keep your high standards always high, and
Really?
don't don't let um, maybe the lack of experience or of technique or maybe preparation just lower your standards as a conductor. They can rise
Wow.
to the occasion. So
Wow. Have them rise to the occasion. Ooh, very
yeah.
good. Can you show us can you show us what this may be difficult for you because people who get really good at something have a difficult time doing a bad version of it. But can you show us bad conducting form? What would bad form look like as a conductor?
Well, okay, so there are so many videos of bad conducting out there, but none of this.
None of this.
No, because that doesn't tell you anything.
Let's give that a name. What is that?
Or
Sloppy hands? What is it?
floppy blob.
All right, the blob. All right. What
So
was the
don't
other
do
one you
that.
showed? You showed another one. You just showed another one.
Well, if you do this, it's
Yeah.
just showing you how fast you're gonna go, and
Right.
that's it. Okay, so you're going at this speed and nothing happens. So don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Give
Show
us.
me something. Show us something about what the music is telling you to do.
Can you give us a touch of what might look like good conducting?
Well, the problem is that I need to think about a piece
Sure.
to show you what to me the piece needs.
Ah.
So, I mean, I'm gonna imagine, for instance, okay, something that it's sang by a choir. They're singing mezzo piano, very melodious arrangement of America the Beautiful or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
you go, so,
I can feel it watching you. That's awesome.
That's the idea.
That's
That's
very
my
good.
role.
That's
That's my
very
role.
good. That's very good. All right, let's go to two. Give us two hacks, two tips of something a person can do in order to begin or know how to compose. Composing is this is something you don't just jump on and say I can compose something, right? So could you give us
Mhm.
two tips here?
First of all, do it. Do it, do it, do it all the time. The
Mm,
more you do it, the better you will get at it. Okay? And and don't give up because you never know. Sometimes that little musical idea that you thought it wasn't really great, when you come back, 2, 3 months or a year after,
mm.
and it's like, wow, I can tweak it this way and it'll work. So and I had I had one situation which is very odd, because whenever I start writing a piece, I always finish it. I
Mm.
never leave it unfinished.
Really?
But oh no, 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 no. When I start something, I work until it's done. But there was one occasion when somebody told me that my pieces were too difficult. And I go, well, I'm going to show them that I can write something that is not too difficult. So I wrote this very simple melody, very simple melody. And I thought, okay, this is going to be a Psalm 23.
Right.
And and that was that. I did that, and for whatever reason, I forgot about it, and I never finished it. And one day I was just scrolling my list of pieces in my computer, and I go, Psalm 23. And what is this Psalm 23? I didn't even remember that I even thought of writing a Psalm 23. It took 10 years. I found that melody there, and then I go, yeah, I remember now. And so that day I put myself and I finished it, and then it's a published piece.
Wow.
So you never know.
You
But
never know.
yeah, just do it, do it, do it, do it.
Do it,
Um,
do it, do it. Okay.
yes, and show it to people. Show it to people and get criticism. You always learn from feedback from friends, from family, but sometimes give it to people that will be tough on you. That will
Yeah.
give you, hey, okay, yeah, but that little part right there, I'm not sure. So, yep.
Hey, that's a good tip. All right, here's our last tip. The last tip is, can you give us one tip of how to be an amazing handyman around the house? Give us one good tip. It's in your tool belt. You go to this when you want it to work out.
Measure, 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 measure. You
Now,
always
there are two
measure.
schools of thought here. There's two schools of thought. There's the eyeball it school, and then there's the measure it school.
Yes, and I've tried the eyeballing, and even with a new eye, sometimes it doesn't um no, just sometimes it's better to spend a little extra time and do it the right way, because then you will be grateful that you spent that extra 5 minutes measuring it one more time.
As opposed to going back and cutting it 7, 8, 9 times, huh?
Oh yeah, and then it's too long, it's too short. Oh, I thought it would fit perfect, and it doesn't.
That's good. That's good. So let's take a moment and talk about the candlelight concert that happens annually over at La Siera University. What is it for those watching along who may not be aware or may not be from the local Riverside area? What is it?
Well, the
And
candlelight
what's your
concert.
role in it too?
Okay, well, so a couple of years ago, my role became more of a sort of a producer, the person that puts together the whole program. Um, I guess, well, obviously because choirs, are known to be singing a lot at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did that for many, many years. And the department decided that maybe I should um, take over a little bit on how to organize that. that event. And so kind of like concerts being sort of a little bit of a showcase of what the music department does, where we will just feature solo students and then our orchestra, our brass ensembles, or um, um, choirs, small ensembles, united, and then of course you, around the theme of Christmas, you try to connect the pieces of the puzzle so that they will make sense. Um, However, this year was particularly challenging because
Yeah.
we were all, out of the building, trying to figure out what would it be possible and what would not be possible.
Mm.
Um,
Did you do
Luckily,
the majority of that music separate, apart, or were you able to at least come together in groups?
the string orchestra was able to be in a group, but there were no woodwinds and
Mm.
no brass players. Um, they would just not allow them to
Yeah.
play together in the building. So string people were very lucky. And of course, all singers, we did everything virtually, everybody from home. And then we put it all together, and you edit and try to
And
make it,
edit.
yes, and edit some more. But it's kind of although it's challenging and not rewarding to do the recording, when you're by yourself at home.
Yeah.
I know it's not fun. But when you hear the final result and you go, oh, wow, actually, we all kind of had the same musical idea, which is something that I talk to the students quite a bit. Think about this way, or think along this way. How do you shape that phrase or this phrase? Yeah, you want to go pianissimo here, but not too soft. Or can you do another track for me and then sing this part in a different way? So that's what we did, and yeah, I'm glad it's
Huh.
over.
So we know that you had some unique challenges because of COVID and having to record separately and partition them out. But was there anything that was made simpler because of this particular season? Did you find something there that seemed a little bit easier or a little bit more conducive to getting things done because of it?
The
No,
only
it was
thing
just
that,
bad.
no, it was just all bad. The
Yeah.
only thing is that I didn't need to drive.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, there it
I,
is.
I save a lot in gas.
Right.
But no, there were long, long hours of preparation.
Mm.
So, yet, if something positive, um, I think that our students, when we get out of this COVID situation, um, they have developed ears and ways of singing where they pay a lot more attention to the details.
Mm.
Because by just listening to your voice by yourself, you cannot, mask any little problems here and there.
Right.
It's just right there, and it's like, when I take a breath, I can't make that much noise. Well, I can't scoop on that note because you can hear it. That note was a little sharp, or that note was flat, because they're listening. And I think that's a very positive thing, all things
Wow.
considered. And I think we're creating a sort of a group of, or small little generation of COVID musicians that will become very good studio musicians, because that's what we
Oh,
do.
great
We just,
point.
yeah, yeah,
Great point.
yeah.
Wow. So,
So,
if you're just joining us or if you lost connection with us and you're coming back on, I'm hanging out with Dr. Ariel Quintana. He has been filling our hour with talks of composition, conducting, arranging, his journey, and the whole life story has been phenomenal. We just got done talking about the candlelight concert that happens annually. He's been very, very involved in producing it and getting things together. We are going to just slide into another segment here. Our hour is almost up, Doc, if you can believe it or not. Minus the huge disconnect right in the middle there. Our time has flown by pretty quickly. I do play this game with most of our guests, so I'd love to play it with you. It's called Love One, Leave One. Would you do that with me today?
uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So this is how it works. I'm going to give you two options, and you have a minute and a half to go through our list together. It's one you will love, one you will leave. When I give you the two options, you can simply state love this. Whichever one you love, we get to keep and enjoy for the rest of our lives. All of us, humanity, gets to do this together and thanks you for choosing that one thing. The thing that you leave, the one that you don't mention that you leave, that thing disappears from existence forever and no one ever again gets to enjoy that thing. So they will not be very happy for you for that
Wow.
part. All right? We have a minute and a half. I shoot through the list, and you just tell me which one you'll love. The other one gets left behind.
Okay.
All right, all right. Are you
boy.
feeling pretty confident here? Are you ready to go?
No, I don't like this game. All right. Go
If
for
you
it.
happen to be with us and you just jump back on, feel free to play along with us. Go ahead and drop your answers into the comment chat there, and we'll read them out along the way. All right? Okay. All right, Doc. If you're ready to go, say go.
Go.
Okay, here we go. Wind instruments or strings?
Strings.
Ooh, the winds go away forever, eternity. Speak 7 languages or play 7 instruments?
I'll play 7 instruments.
Okay. Christmas or Thanksgiving, one of them disappears for eternity.
Oh, we keep Christmas.
Oh, we're keeping Christmas. All right. A Wonderful Life or A Christmas Carol, one of these classics has to go.
Okay, Wonderful Life.
Oh, Wonderful Life stays. Okay, Christmas Carol. Bah humbug. Bah humbug to you. Okay, Beethoven or Mozart? Beethoven or Mozart?
Mozart.
Oh, okay. That seemed easy enough for you. All right. Christmas.
I don't know.
Christmas food or Christmas presents?
Oh, Christmas present.
Christmas food's got to go. Okay. Argentinian food or Thai food?
Oh, Argentinian. Oh, yeah. Sorry, my friends, but it's Argentinian.
Fancy suits or laid back sandals?
Fancy suits.
Oh, good job. Good job. Way to hang in there. Way to hang in there. Some of those you seem like you
I
had
know,
to think
sorry, I love Beethoven. Yeah, I do too, but Mozart is fun.
Okay, be honest with me. Which one of those questions caused you the most amount of anxiety to choose?
Are you asking me?
Mm-hmm. Which one of those was the most difficult?
Oh.
Was it the fancy suit? You took a while to answer that one.
Yeah, because now I'm wearing sandals, you know?
What was your answer for that one anyways? I can't quite remember.
The what?
Was it fancy suit or sandals? Which one did you choose?
No, I did fancy suits.
Oh.
Yeah.
That means
yeah.
none of us can ever wear casual sandals again.
Well, that's the problem, including myself. As I said, look at this. See right here. Well, COVID is not going to last forever.
Oh
So
man, this is you really vexed my life with those answers there. I
sorry,
don't know how to deal
sorry.
with it. We've got just about 5 minutes. If you joined us, I'm hanging out with Dr. Quintana, and we're talking about all things orchestral music and life and faith. So I've got a few more questions for you, but I do want to take a quick listen to a piece here. Would you listen with me on this piece and just share a little bit about it? It's one of your works. I believe you are the composer of this piece, aren't you? Let me just share it with us here. You could just take a peek. It's a Christmas song.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can play that through and see if we can get some sound on it. Should be getting some sound. Here it is. It was dark, cold May. Tell us about this piece, would you?
So many years ago, I decided that I wanted to write something more in the contemporary vein. And so I wrote this as a Christmas present to my wife.
Wow!
And so I just sang it to her, but it was never performed until a couple of years ago. We were working on the music for one of the Candlelight concerts. So I asked Anthony, who was my student there, and I said, okay, Anthony, would you sing this? So I sent it to him, and the next day he comes all excited. He says, yes, we're doing this. And because I had an orchestra and a full choir, then I spent about a month writing all the orchestration and choir parts to it.
So all the parts.
So,
lyrics as well.
Yeah. And I'm not a lyricist, but for this one, yeah. And the song talks about how the cry of baby Jesus must have sounded, it was compared to a sound of a song of hope for everybody. So
this is amazing, man. I mean, you know, when I try to get romantic and think about my wife, this is not what I do. Don't listen. I hope my wife doesn't watch this episode, because then I don't want this coming back on me, man. That's fantastic, man. I'm going to cut us, Jared, just a little bit, because we're almost out of time, and I want us to just talk a little bit more, if that's all right. I wanted to ask you a couple more questions just before we end out today. What do you want people to get out of the music that is often missed when you're composing, or even when you're conducting or arranging? What do you hope people will get from this that they often miss?
Sometimes when we're so bombarded by the media and the show business, it's almost like we are, they imposed on you certain aesthetics, and it's like, oh no, you need to like this, you need to like that, you need to like that. And I think many times we miss some great opportunities of enjoying or getting to know or learning to appreciate different styles, different ways of how composers express themselves. And so I just try to, in some little ways, show to the audiences that come to my concerts that, hey, let's listen to this. This is, something that it's a little bit obscure, but I consider that it's good music and it has a lot of richness and a good message. And why don't we give it a shot? And many times my students or my singers will feel like, well, they will tell me, oh, I don't like that piece. I hate that. Why are we doing this? And then after, 3 months of a lot of work, it's like, wow, we did it, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. So that's when I go, okay, yes,
Mm.
you know. Um, so I guess that's my message. Just,
Wow.
be a little bit adventure, and um, allow yourself to listen to other things that you're not familiar, because maybe you will find a treasure somewhere there.
Wow. That's very good.
Mm.
How has, let me ask it this way. How has your personal faith affected your professional growth? Has it had any toll on it?
Um, Somebody asked me that question years ago, and my faith and my life as a musician had gone hand in hand since I was a kid. Learning to play the hymns with one finger, or listening to messiahs out of the loudspeakers at the campus of the school. Um, so sometimes people say, well, if you're true to your faith, then you're not going to succeed, or, it'll put barriers into your career or whatever. And I never felt that way,
Wow.
not once. So if anything, it has helped me and carry me through this journey, and I hope and I'm sure it will continue to do so. Especially in the choral world, where you know most choral music back in the days were just sponsored by the church,
Mm.
and musicians work for churches, and that's how creativity came about into creating choral works. So
Wow.
mm.
Very good. Very good. Doc, I want to thank you for our time together. This has been most educational and interesting. It is very apparent why you are good at what you do. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity. A
Yeah,
pleasure to share this
absolutely.
time with you. Good to see Jill in
Yep,
there
yep.
somewhere.
Jillian's in there.
Former student. Yes, yes.
If
So
you're
again,
if you're
thank
watching
you.
along, I want to thank you so much for joining us. This was Dr. Ariel Quintana. If you're watching us after this has been posted, first of all, I want to apologize for all the hiccups. The internet dropped out on us, but you know what? That's the tech world we live in today, and we deal with it and we move forward. But we are giving away. This is December giveaways, so we're going to continue to give stuff away. We're going to be giving out an album that was put out by Disney for a lot of these classical pieces. This is how you can win it. I want you to go and subscribe onto our YouTube channel. If you haven't done that yet already, go for it. Just hit the subscribe button, push a like, and drop a comment. And we'll pick from the comments later on this week. We'll see who dropped in the comments, and from one of those, we'll reply to you. Another way you can do it is go on to our IG channel, go to our Instagram, and DM us at One House SoCal. Doc, before we leave out, would you just give us some inspirational words in the light of your craft that could help some young Ariel out there, or some young person who is watching and listening along with us today?
As I said, never give up. Keep true to your beliefs, to your sensitivities as a musician. Um, and share the love of music. Share what you do. Share with everybody. You never know. A publisher will hear you one day, and the next day you have your music playing all over the world. So just do it.
Just do it. Don't look back. Just keep pushing forward, huh?
Absolutely, it's
Thank
worth
you,
it.
Doc.
It's worth it.
Thank you. You know what? And we are thankful for the music that you have put out there. So keep up the great work. Keep pushing forward. Keep pushing forward. All my friends, thank you so much for watching along. I hope you have a blessed and awesome week. Enjoy the Christmas time with your families. Be thankful for the things that you do have. Love each other well. Love each other deeply. And no matter what you're going through, as Doc just said, just keep pushing forward. You never know what great things God has in store for your life just around that corner. So keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Until next Tuesday, we're going to be hanging out next Tuesday with a couple artists, Jacqueline Jewell and Kevin Strain. They're going to be sharing live one song from their newest album. We're going to talk about life and faith in the 2020 and what we're looking forward in 2021. Until that time, everybody keep staying safe. We love you guys. God bless you. We'll talk later. Thanks again, Doc.